The new abundance timeline does not begin when new systems are implemented. It begins when you turn inward, when you recognize that supply flows from consciousness, not currency. It begins when you experience the inner wellspring, the infinite movement of life through you, and realize that no outer system has authority over that flow. When you feel this even for a moment, a deep relaxation moves through your being. You stop chasing stability and begin generating it from within. You stop trying to secure the future and begin trusting the intelligence that has always guided your existence. This inner shift is what aligns you with the new systems emerging. Those systems will not empower dependency, they will empower sovereignty. They will not reward compliance, they will respond to coherence. They will not privilege control, they will amplify contribution. The individuals who thrive in the new timelines are those who know that true abundance is not a number, a balance sheet, or a currency. It is a frequency, and it is accessed through attunement. As you release your attachment to world systems, you free yourself to experience the flow of life in a way that transcends economics altogether. You become a participant in a new kind of exchange, one in which energy, service, creativity, and alignment generate prosperity. This is the future you are preparing for. This is the financial transition already unfolding. And the more you root your sense of provision in the inner source, the more gracefully you will move with it. There is a profound shift underway on your planet, one that touches every structure humanity once assumed was permanent. The institutions that shaped your understanding of authority, your financial systems, your political frameworks, your religious hierarchies, your corporate bodies, even your scientific establishments, are losing vibrational coherence. This is not because they are bad, but because they were built in a frequency band that humanity is outgrowing. These institutions were created in an era when power was believed to live outside the individual, when guidance was expected to come from leaders rather than from within, and when the human spirit was conditioned to seek stability in systems instead of in consciousness. As the collective frequency rises, anything built upon separation, fear, or dependency can no longer sustain itself. As these structures weaken, dissolve, or transform, many people will feel destabilized. They will sense that the world they counted on is no longer capable of giving them the reassurance it once did. For those who still believe authority lives outside themselves, this period of transition may feel like the ground is slipping out from under their feet. People will look for someone to blame or someone to save them. They will grasp for new leaders, new systems, or new information to replace the old. But none of this searching will bring them the peace they desire, because the era of externally derived authority is ending. Humanity is being asked to grow into a new relationship with power, one that arises from within. This is where your role becomes essential. Starseeds, awakened humans, and those who have cultivated inward attunement are being called to model what inner authority actually looks like. Inner authority is not loud. It is not forceful. It is not about convincing others of your perspective. It is the quiet, steady ability to receive guidance from within, to trust the inner word, and to allow that inner communication to shape your actions, your decisions, and your way of being in the world. It is alignment with the source that speaks in silence, the presence that reveals itself when you turn inward again and again, not seeking answers, but resting in the knowing that the answers will arise naturally. When you embody this kind of authority, you do not panic when outer structures crumble. You do not lose yourself in the chaos of revelation or in the noise of collapsing systems. You discern clearly. You move deliberately. You remain grounded because your foundation is not built on what the world provides. It is built on what the inner source generates. And as you anchor this inner state, others will recognize something in you that they want to access within themselves. They will not necessarily ask you for guidance, but they will feel your stability. They will sense your clarity. Your presence will remind them that there is a place within where power cannot be taken, threatened, or diminished. As you detach from external power structures, not through rebellion, but through remembrance, you rise into your true spiritual stature. You begin to understand authority not as dominance, but as alignment, not as control, but as coherence. You become a demonstration of what it means to live from the inside out. This is the evolution humanity is now entering, and your embodiment of inner authority becomes one of the great stabilizing forces in a world learning to stand on new ground. As the frequency of your planet rises, everything that has been buried within the collective human psyche begins to come to the surface. This includes not only inspiration, intuition, and higher awareness, but also unresolved fear, dormant aggression, suppressed grief, confusion, and patterns of dependency that have been carried forward for generations. You are not regressing. Humanity is not falling backward. What you are witnessing is detox, energetic purging on a scale that few civilizations have ever experienced while remaining embodied in physical form. The increasing light acts as a catalyst, illuminating what has been held in shadow so that it can be released. The collective field is clearing itself by bringing hidden layers of emotional debris into awareness, and as this occurs, it can feel as though the world is becoming more chaotic rather than more awakened. But this is only because what was unconscious is now becoming visible. The rising of the shadow wave is not a failure of humanity, it is a sign of progress. The light cannot elevate the collective field, while fragments of fear and stagnation remain unintegrated. Everything must come to the surface so that it can be addressed, felt, acknowledged, and ultimately dissolved. You may observe people reacting suddenly, looping emotionally, or expressing behaviors that seem exaggerated, irrational, or disproportionate to the circumstances at hand. You may witness public outbursts, polarized conflicts, or waves of confusion sweeping through communities. What you are seeing is not the true nature of those individuals. You are seeing the residue rising. Just as the body purges toxins when healing, the collective consciousness purges emotional toxins when ascending. During this time, your role is not to fix others or to absorb their turbulence. Your role is to remain anchored in the inner sanctuary, the secret place within you where clarity is constant and peace is your natural rhythm. When you dwell in this inward attunement, you become a reminder of stability for others. Your presence communicates that safety does not come from the outer world, but from connection to the source within you. Become an energetic anchor, not by effort, but by alignment. You stabilize the space around you simply by resting in the coherence of your inner being. The most powerful assistance you can provide during the shadow wave is to turn inward whenever outer turbulence presents itself. Not to retreat from the world, but to remain rooted in your true source of guidance and strength. This is how you show others, wordlessly, where their real security lies. People feel your calm. They sense your steadiness. They may not understand it intellectually, but they recognize that you are resting in a place that does not shake when the world shakes. This inspires them. It reminds them of their own inner ground, even if they have not yet learned how to access it consciously. When you remain anchored inside, the shadow waves move through you without imprint. You do not absorb the fear, nor do you become entangled in the emotional turbulence of others. You witness the wave, but you do not become the wave. You feel the collective shift, but you do not lose your center. This ability is not a form of detachment, it is mastery. It is the skill of keeping your awareness aligned with the deeper truth of your being while the collective purifies itself. And as humanity continues through this detox, your inward stability becomes one of the great blessings you offer to the world. A living example of what it looks like to stand in light while the shadows rise and dissolve.